Welcome everyone to another episode of Keys in D Minor.
I'm your host, Keyshawn.
I'm your other host, Nige.
In this episode, we will be talking about Nicki and Little Baby back-to-back singles, Bussin' and Do We Have a Problem, and also who's going to be dropping this year and who's not going to be dropping this year.
Then after a couple back and forths talking about little music debates, we're going to sit down with Sac State athlete / musician Prince Washington about his journey as a Sac State football player and his come up in music so far.
Let's get into it.
All right, so Queen of Hip Hop is back. Nicki Minaj has dropped 2 singles in 2 weeks, both featuring the Prince of Hip Hop right now, Lil Baby. And I just want to know, Key, what do you think about them?
All right, so I think Bussin' dropped last night. It was cool.
That's it?
It was cool.
I feel like we start every pod off this way. Like, yeah, it was all right, man. It was fine.
Cool.
It was.
But the single they dropped last week, Do We Have a Problem? Nah, I like that one a lot. The beat, the instrumental, the lyrics, it was dope. Lil Baby has been going on a tear.
He's
lately.
going in. He's him.
Yeah, he's real nice, and I think that was a great collab between those two. And it's kind of funny because I think you were alluding to, that song, was it Fifi?
Yeah. Look, hold on. But before we get into this, I need to call you out just a little bit.
All right.
Because, we do this show, we talk, for y'all, but obviously we had to have these conversations a little bit before the pod starts. Right. And I just feel like when Do We Have a Problem? When Do We Have a Problem initially dropped, you were all, this is some mid. And now you're like, what a great song, solid song, way better than the next song. And I know it changed for you, and then we could talk about my little bussin' rant.
Right. So, I gave it a listen. I just listened to it once, and from first listen, I didn't really like it, but I gave it a few more chances, and I turned it out. It turned out that I really liked it.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the case with Bussin' as well. I listened to it one time, didn't really like it, so I'll see if I can give it a few more chances and see if it'll grow on me. Okay.
So, Do We Have a Problem is better than Bussin' to you, but there's room to grow with you and Bussin'?
Yeah.
That was a weird sentence. But all right. So, so as for my thoughts on the 2 singles, I would say this. I like Bussin' way better than Do We Have a Problem, but I don't think that Do We Have a Problem is a bad song.
Right.
The thing that I like about Do We Have a Problem is that I just find it so interesting. Like, these older experienced artists kind of have to play ball with like the Lil Babies of the world. I just feel like Lil Baby on that track is way more comfortable than Nicki is.
Right. Now,
Nicki's a GOAT, so she can adjust, but sometimes it just seems funny, when the acts that have been doing this for 10, 15 years, they're having to adjust now. Like, Nicki's been at the top of the mountain for a long time. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know if this was like, it started off as Lil Baby song and then Nicki was like, hey, let's work, or if Nicki had this in the tuck the whole time. But it sounds like a song I would have enjoyed much more if like my boy Gunna did the hook that Nicki did. And we know that Gunna and Nicki aren't comparable as artists really,
right.
But do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Like, it seems like she's kind of trying to, capture that sound that, we would take, from some younger artists and think like, oh, this is great. But when Nicki does it, it feels just a little off. Do you think that's maybe why you didn't like it at first?
Probably, like, Lil Baby is like the new age of rap, to me. He's been going on that, like that Lil Wayne tear when he used to just hop on everybody's songs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's there.
He's hot right now, So to me, it felt like, she's like, all right, I'm going to come back, like, out of retirement, basically. And I was like, who was the first person that, is hot right now and I would make a song with? And I thought she thought of Lil Baby in that instance. Yeah.
Okay. And I have like a separate Lil Baby tier that we don't have time for in today's episode because we have so much to get to.
Right.
But we will have this discussion because I'm a huge Lil Baby fan, and the thing I like about him the most is it feels like he gets better every year.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't settle. He's been hot since 2018. But he's only been rapping since 2017.
Right.
So 2017 he got out of prison and just started to make rap music, and a year later he was hot. Drake hopped on Yes Indeed. He could have just settled there. We've seen a lot of people get like, the little Drake stimulus package and then be hot for a year and
like
then fumble
Black
it.
Boy JB.
Yeah. But then what happens is Lil Baby hopping on tracks with Drake now and outdoing him every single time. That's another thing. We're gonna have a little bit. We might even have like a Lil Baby whole segment one day. Not today though.
Right.
But so Lil Baby, he can't miss. Right. As you were saying, he's on that Lil Wayne type feature run. So he kind of carries Do We Have a Problem for me, but I respect Nicki.
Oh no, I agree. Mm-hmm. I definitely agree.
And then as for Bussin', which for me, you kind of spoiled it a little bit.
My bad.
You kind of ruined the take, but I mean, to me, Bussin' is kind of just like Fifi 2.0, but in the sense that 2.0 is actually an upgrade.
Right.
Because when Fifi came out, that's a song that Nicki Minaj did with Tekashi 6ix9ine. That's another one of those topics that's a whole separate pod. Right. He's like he could have ruined hip hop for real. He was this close. He almost did it. He almost ruined hip hop single handedly.
For real.
But he was hot, and he linked with Nicki, and they did what they had to do, and they got a #1 single off of it. But I'm just hoping that Bussin' has the same commercial success as that, so it can kind of erase Fifi in their catalog for me, and we can get to a song that's actually good because they're actually rapping on this. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like they kept, like, the beat was similar and they kept the same tempo, but in the other one they was just saying where it's like Fifi, I'm my Kiki, in Wakiki, like, that's not doing it for me. But they're keeping the same tempo in this song, but actually saying something, and it really made me like the pairing because it just made me start thinking about musically, like, these are, like, I feel like if there was like a Hall of Fame for like speed rapping, like a double time Hall of Fame, I think Lil Baby's already there. He's only been out 5 years, but I already would put him there. And like Nicki, I mean, we already know what she can do. She's never not been comfortable, rapping fast, switching tempo mid-song, stuff like that. And so you could kind of hear how much the pairing makes sense, and it makes me wish we've heard more of them, and it makes me hopeful that we'll hear more of them together.
So my question is, they dropped these 2 back-to-back singles. Do you think that they would be a good pairing for a collab album?
See, like, just because people work good together, does that mean we need the collab album every time?
I mean, like, it worked for Lil Baby and Lil Durk, Drake, Future, Kanye, Jay-Z, but I'm not saying that they're on that level.
Yeah.
And that they don't have a rapport like that, but...
Well, in my mind, I'm going to say they like 1 for 2 or like 1.5 for 2.
Okay.
They're not... I think they do make a good pairing, but like I was saying, I like the way they were rapping on Bussin'.
Right.
But see, they proved on the first track they did together that they can also do that iffy,
Mm-hmm.
Like Baby and Durk, they work because it doesn't really... You could change the beat. You could change the feature artist.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You could change the situation. How much time is on the track? How long is it? And it's going to be a good hit no matter what.
Right.
Baby and Gunna, even more chemistry, in my opinion, even though I love, what Baby and Durk kind of represent right now.
Right.
They call themselves the voice of the heroes. And Lil Baby is the hero because he saved that first track with Nicki.
Man.
And Bussin' it's the best thing I heard this week, honestly. It's a great way to start my morning hearing it. But I just don't know if Baby and Nicki are there yet.
Right.
But, if they want to link up every once in a while and make more songs like Bussin', maybe a little longer or something, I'll be here for that. But the collab album, I don't know. And especially because of where they're at, I'm ready to hear Nicki just drop an album, for herself right now. And because Baby collaborates with so many people, he's gone on the feature run and just had a collab album drop last year. Like, I think it's time for him to come back again.
Yeah.
With just this is a Lil Baby project.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, so I'm going to name... Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You can go first. Go ahead.
All right, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to name 3 different artists and ask the other person if they think they're going to drop an album this year or not. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, so if I told you that Kendrick is dropping an album this year, would you believe me?
Yes.
Why?
It's been, 2018 was that damn?
2017.
2017.
It's been 5 years, bro.
It's been 5 years, yes. So I feel like he's due for a album release this year. He's performing in the Super Bowl. He released that statement that, TDE, like, this is going to be his last album, basically. So I feel like it's coming soon this year. Yeah, most definitely.
This is recorded before the Super Bowl, by the way. So if that boy drop a album, right after his performance or something, don't. Hey. All right. If I told you that Rihanna was dropping an album this year, would you believe me?
No.
Why?
She is, a millionaire, billionaire?
Billionaire?
Billionaire, yeah. She don't need another album. She good.
So she's just good.
She's chilling. Yeah, and she got a baby. She good.
But what if that inspires some new form of music? What if?
Well, honestly, does she really need to make music anymore now that she's a billionaire and she has a makeup company? She sells lingerie. She don't really need the music anymore, to be honest, if you really think about it.
Okay. What if I told you that Travis Scott was dropping an album this year with everything he has going on? Would you believe me?
I would say yeah, just because like, you know, like you said, all things that, you know, what's going on with him. I would say he would drop one just to kind of distract people from, well, not even distract people. It's just, I'm not sure when Like
you on your J. Cole right now.
I'm still thinking about J. Cole. But Astroworld, I'm not sure how long ago that was, but
2018?
You know, no, the
oh,
fest.
you mean the festival last year?
Yeah.
Towards the end of the year, probably like October or something.
Yeah, so I would say he would drop this year, probably like towards the end of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it as a reason not to drop though.
Right.
He has a huge PR fire on his hands. You know, a lot of people, you know, got, you know, hurt at the concert. A lot of people died at the concert. And, you know, it's not to, you know, put it 100,000% on him. There were other factors at play there. But, you know, the option could also just be to lay low. Right. You know, it seems like, you know, the public doesn't feel like the public is all the way with him right now. And maybe, and, you know, music can be, you know, a little political. So maybe that affects the numbers, and maybe he needs to go on his little PR tour first before he drops.
Right.
But I wasn't supposed to give my opinion on that. I was supposed to just ask you a question.
It's all good.
All right.
It's
So
a music
you
podcast.
asked me the 3 artists.
All right. 3 artists for you. SZA this year.
Would I believe you? I would. But like I'm leaning more towards yes, but there's that 10% of no there just off what we was just talking about, right? Like she's on TDE. They got a lot of artists over there. Another artist is due. Kendrick's almost as due as her, if not more.
Right.
So it's like, how are they going to run this? I hope she drops this year, but I don't know.
Kanye this month.
This month? Absolutely not. He's lying. Anytime he says he's going to drop something within the next 2 weeks, it has not come out. I know it's supposed to be Donda 2, and Future's supposed to be executive producing, and I think it's all a lie. But whenever he drops, I'll listen. I'm sure it'll be great.
All right, and then last one, Frank Ocean this year.
No. Frank's not dropping.
No? Okay. I think it's funny with Frank Ocean because, you know, he'll go ghost, like, for years.
Like his whole career?
Yeah.
But he has 2 albums?
Come back and just drop a classic.
But you can't. I feel like you can't even say come back with him because he really only came back once, right?
Yeah.
He dropped Blonde, and I was like a junior in high school, and then like that's it. And I'm finna graduate college.
He did drop a album before that too. That visual album. Yeah.
Okay, but that's still one comeback. Like you got to do it in multiple years.
Well, it looks like he's about to do it again.
How does it look like that?
Well, he did drop a couple of singles last year. I think he dropped 2 singles a year before that.
Like when he dropped Biking?
Yeah, Biking and what was that one last year? Dear April.
Yeah.
And
great music.
Yeah. That song that he sang in Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 0 faith though, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, true.
Okay. Yeah. Prince. I ain't really wanna do it, but I did it then. I ain't really want her friend, but I hit her friend. Ain't spending money, I can't give her more than 50 cents. Asked her body count, she said many, man. Different flavors, different colors. Like
all right, and now we're here with, you know, the real Sac State Swiss Army knife, Prince Washington, athlete / musician. And we just wanted to talk to him today a little bit about his journey playing football and, you know, his musical career as well. So welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, appreciate y'all for having me.
All right. So I just wanted to know, just off rip, what does the 4BP stand for in your name?
It's for Butler Park, so that's where I'm from. I'm from Fresno, but where I was raised is Butler Park, and that's basically who I do it for. It's just, I do it for where I'm from, my family, and the people I grew up around. So that's what the 4BP stand for.
That makes a lot of sense. And, you know, I feel like one thing that I think we both really like about your music is just, like you can tell like your environment shaped it.
Yeah,
Does that
for
make
sure.
sense? So like, can you kind of, you know, just speak to that a little bit, like, you know, how you grew up and like how that translated musically for you?
Yeah, so I mean, I grew up on the east side of Fresno. I ain't gonna say it's the best. It ain't the worst situation, but it for sure ain't the best. Like,
Yeah,
it's
right.
it's always somebody that got it worse than you.
Right.
So, but yeah, I grew up in the hood. I had a good support group around me though. Everybody was older than me, and everybody looked out for me, made sure I had my head on straight. Like, even though if they wasn't doing the right things, they made sure I was doing the right things. You
Right.
feel me? So it's just like, just growing up in that environment, seeing how people messed up and knowing how to fix it was like a big thing with me. So I grew up seeing everybody do the wrong stuff. So it was just basically knowing what not to do at a young age. So that just helped shape me, and just that environment just made me just want to be better than everybody around me.
Yeah.
Made me want to get everybody else out the hood.
Yeah.
So do all the right stuff to get them out the hood. So that was my whole thing growing up.
And did that support from the community you was talking about, you know, people just making sure that, you know, you was straight and into the right things, was that because you was playing football, or was that just in general?
It was at the time, it was just in general, because even growing up at a young age, I was playing basketball more than football.
Okay.
So I was playing basketball more than football. I wasn't really even making music yet. At that time, I was just rapping for fun, rapping on the block with them,
Yeah.
just playing around. They all shut up. Like, they don't want to hear me. Like, just shut up. Like, you always just not even making sense. Just
And you
throwing
grew up with
words
older
around.
folks too,
Yeah,
right? So
they
you was
all
always
older
the
than
youngest one in the
I'm
group, so
always
they like, yeah.
always the youngest one.
Yeah,
So they
yeah,
way
yeah.
older than me, so I'm always the youngest one, and I'm just rapping, doing everything. They beating me up, like everything. Like, so just being with them, it was just growing. I just grew up. I was way mature for my age.
Yeah.
So it's just like growing up with them. So yeah, I was just rapping, playing around, playing basketball, and then once I got a little bit older, that's when I started playing football.
Yeah.
And then I started
Like
taking
high school?
high school. No, I started playing football in the 7th grade.
Okay.
And then really started taking it serious a little bit later. But then I started making music later on, and everything is just kind of just progressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Could you like map out like a date of when you started, you know, rapping, and, you know, when you started doing football? Did that kind of like happen at the same time? Or?
So 7th grade is when I started playing football, but I was still playing basketball too all the years. But then I want to say probably like going into my freshman year of high school, I didn't want to play football no more.
Yeah.
I just wanted to play basketball. And then the homie dad, Dennis, his dad, he called me and was like, practice just started today. Where you at? I was like, nah, I ain't playing football. I'm trying to play varsity as a freshman for basketball. He was like, nah, come out here. You playing football. Like, you playing football. And then I was just like, all right, whatever. So I went out there, and I was late to the team. And then from there, I just kept playing football. I was still playing basketball too.
Yeah.
And then probably like my junior year, like my football coaches was always telling me like, nah, you a football player. You're not a basketball player. You're a football player. And I'm like, I don't want to listen to you. I ain't listening to y'all. I play both. That's what I'm telling them. I play both.
Right.
And whichever one work. And then eventually, probably like my junior year is when I was like really taking football serious, and was like, yeah.
So you could have been a triple threat. So
Hey,
hooping,
I coulda
football,
been for
music.
Man.
I always had that dream. I was like, I wanted to play football and basketball in college. That's what I wanted to do. I was like, I don't know nobody that did it, but I want to do both. And then just got to the time, probably my junior, senior year, I was like, nah, I'm really playing football. I'm going to stick with that.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So you said you started rapping in the senior year?
Of high school.
Yeah, high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the first song that you dropped?
By myself
Yes,
or with my friends?
by yourself.
It's called Game Day. That's
Game
the
Day?
first song I
Game
dropped.
Day.
I remember that. The first song
It was
I
a little
dropped was called
pregame
Game
anthem?
Day. It was, I dropped it when I had a basketball game, on the day of a basketball
Yeah.
game. So, and I ain't know what to call it. So I'm like, hey, it's Game Day. So I was just like, it just went from there.
You had the locker room fired up.
For real. But the coaches coming up to me talking about it, I'm like, I feel like everybody was rocking with it from the jump. So that just pushed me to keep going.
So one thing I'm really impressed with, you know, just with your journey is that, you know, I mean, football at the highest level. Like, it's one thing to play, you know, football on the weekends, little flag, two-hand touch, wrap up, and then also be making music. You know, it's one thing to be good at football and make music, or vice versa. It's one thing to, you know, take football real serious, but then, you know, kind of music, like, I can rap, but I'm not really trying to do that.
Yeah,
Like,
facts.
you're literally, you're an artist, and an athlete at the same time.
Facts.
At the top level. So I want to know what that's like. So senior year of high school seems to be when you started taking like the artistry seriously and had, an athletic commitment at the same time. So like, can you kind of just map out like senior year of high school all the way through your journey at Sac State now, doing all that?
Well, really, I feel like what a lot of people don't understand, they understand, but they don't really understand. Like, it's 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you could do a lot of stuff in one day. So I could be rapping, I could go to football practice, and then I had AAU practice. Like, high school is probably harder than college, if I'm really being honest, because you at school all day. I got started before school. Before school, we either got football or basketball in the morning. And then we got football or basketball after school. And then I got either AAU or 7-on-7 practice after that. And then it's like I got homework. And then after that, it's like now I'm trying to make music.
Right. Then when stew time comes in.
Yeah,
Right.
you feel me? So I feel like college was even easier because like I got a lot more free time. The schoolwork's still not hard for me. I still like I'm schoolwork still wasn't hard, so it's like I got a lot more free time. Now it's like it's easy now. So I feel like just growing up in high school, it probably was a little bit more hard. It was harder because I didn't have as much time as free time, didn't have the ways to move around like I am now, like I can now. So I feel like it was for sure harder back then.
Have you ever been in a situation over the past like 4 or 5 years, with the music thing where maybe coaches was like, hey, why don't you like focus a little more on this? Because, I see you dropping songs, but like, did that ever come up, or did they always just have full faith in you?
Nah, they ain't never said nothing like that. Like, I went to University of Wyoming before I came to Sac State.
Oh, okay.
And they ain't say nothing back then. They was all supportive. They liked it. I made a song about the football team. They was all they liked everything. And then I want to say one time in high school, the basketball coach said something once, but that was really about it. That was the only time ever something happened. Even here, the coach is all supportive of what I do, because when I show up to football, they know I'm here for football, and they know they can see me putting in extra work. So I'm putting in more time than other people. So I'm putting in extra work, doing everything that I can do for football, and I'm doing everything outside of football. So they know I put my work in.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I wanted to know, so there's hoopers and ballers at the same time, like the famous ones like Dame Lillard and Miles Bridges and all that, and you being from Fresno. I just want to know, like, where do you draw your inspiration from, or who inspires you musically as an artist?
Honestly, it's not just one person that inspires me as an artist. I don't really draw inspiration from one person. I like music as a whole, so I listen to a lot of different artists. I listen to basically everybody, and it's not one person that I look at and was like, oh, I want to do that or I want to do this. Because at the time, it wasn't really no football players that was really rapping. It wasn't no basketball players that was like, and then I wanted to play basketball and football. I wanted to do something that was never happened before. Right. So it's like I wanted to play basketball, football, and be a rapper. So it's just like I just wanted to set a new trend and be different. So it kind of just happened.
I love that. So we listened to your projects. I listened to Listen to Me. Loved it.
Appreciate it.
I thought it was like really like there's some realness to it, you know what I mean? It's personable.
Substance.
Yeah, substance, you know what I mean? And the tracks were crazy good. And there's this one track that you have. It's called Philophobia. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, it's basically the fear of love. And with me, like growing up in the hood, they always teach you like show no love, like show no love. So that was just my main thing. It was just show no love. And even if you have love for somebody or you love other people, just don't wear your heart on your sleeve, because people will take advantage of that. Yeah. So you could love somebody dearly, you could be friends with somebody and all that, but just don't show love, because they'll take advantage of that, and then you just don't want to. It's not even appearing weak. It's just having a weakness that people think that they could exploit. Yeah. So just basically that's just what fear of love is, and kind of like fear of commitment, kind of just not wanting to have regrets and stuff like that. So that's kind of where that song came from, and it just went from there.
I loved it.
And I really love the way you explain that, because it makes me think about, you know, why I like your music. Because I mean, I feel like you make the songs like fun and all, like you not like it's not no snoozing type tracks on there, but at the same time, like what you just said is a, you know, a fun way of saying
for sure.
like what you just explained there so articulately, you know what I mean? And I really like that about your music. So you dropped 2 projects last year, one in January and one in August.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first one's Don't Talk to Me, and the second one's Listen to Me.
Yeah, see, when we was on pre-production, I was in charge of Don't Talk to Me. Like that's when I had to have my headphones. I listened to some of your other songs too, but I was really listening to that one. And I mean, pretty much everything he just said, and I kind of started talking about. Like, I love the way that your music is. You know, it's deep, it's substantial, but it's also, you know what I'm saying, fun.
Yeah, and that's partially to how I was raised, because I might be living in the hood. I'm with all the homies that probably ain't doing something they supposed to be doing, and then I'm going to school on the opposite side of town with where the majority is white people, and it's in a better part of the city. So I grew up on the east side, but I went to high school on the north side. So it's like just being able to see both sides and be able to handle myself in both sides and stay the same person. Like, it's not like I got to be 2 different people when I'm, like, you feel me? I don't got to be a different person when I'm around my school friends and a different person when I'm around my neighborhood friends. I'm the same person in both situations, in both areas. So just being able to have those 2 environments was able to, you could see it in my music. Yeah. Like, I could talk about something from the hood, and I could talk about something that's deeper because I'm smart too. So I feel like that's for sure comes out of my music.
Yeah, and I think that should go well for you with just making your music more, you know, palatable, more relatable.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like you cover a lot of ground. It's like you was making songs that, you know, you could just listen to in the locker room and just all, you know, bounce to, but then you got songs about relationships. Yeah. You got songs about, you know, a fear of love or a fear of what type of hurt love can bring about. Yeah. You know, you got songs about just, you know, like environment, stuff like that. And I think all of that is dope. For sure. So you had a big year then. 2 albums. I mean, we know what Sac State football did last semester. Yeah. I know that you got, you know, hurt at the beginning of the season, right? A couple games in. Yeah. But you was still, you know, very much part of that team, right?
Facts.
So how was it, like, how was it a good year for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, how's that been for you?
Yeah, it's up. I had ups and downs. Yeah. So this year was for sure challenging. Getting hurt in the second game, that was hard mentally. So that was something that I had to really deal with, because I never really had to. I felt like it was my time. Like, I felt like it was really my time to shine. I'm starting corner. I'm pushing. I'm trying to have a good year to go to the NFL. Yeah. And then I feel like everything just shattered right in front of me. So I get hurt in the second game, and I'm trying hard to come back, and then it's just not working. Yeah. I'm doing everything I can, and literally at one of the practices that I'm trying to go right before the game, I literally asked myself, like, God, what is my purpose? Yeah. Like, I really asked myself, like, after I came out, like, I couldn't run, and I'm like, God, what is my purpose? Like, I put in all this extra work. I'm working harder than everybody else, and then right when it's my time to shine, I get hurt, and I basically feel like I lost it all. But then it all worked out, and I got my medical red shirt, and I got this year back. So now I know everything happened for a reason, and it's not gonna happen on your timing. It's gonna happen on God's timing. So
it is a new year, you know, 2022. Do you have any music that you have potentially dropping this year?
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna drop some singles. Honestly, I got some music done. It's just trying to find the right time to drop it. Really.
Right.
Yeah. Is part of that because of, you know, what you need to lock in and what you know you need to do on the field this year? You know what I mean? Like,
nah, not even. Cause music doesn't take away from anything I'm doing on the field. Right. So it's not like a either or. It's kind of just a feeling thing. You don't I don't really plan out when I need to have a song done by, when I need to have something dropped by. It's just a feeling thing. Cause if you try to force it, then it's not gonna come out how you want it to. Right. It's not gonna come out authentic. You just want to feel it, and whenever you have that feeling, whenever you feel like you can express yourself, or you feel like you need to express yourself, then that's when it happens.
Right on. All right. Well, thank you, Prince, for joining us.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
We really appreciate you having you on the second episode of Keys in D Minor. And you can check out Prince 4BP's music on, where you at? Spotify?
All platforms. Prince 4BP, all platforms. You can find it anywhere. Just Look up Prince 4BP.
And all right. And so that concludes our second episode of Keys in D Minor. Make sure to be checking out statehornet.com, but you can also listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can listen to some of our other shows. Thank you again for listening.
Appreciate it.